Hi, welcome. Tonight we've got Gage Bibey, 2021 middle infielder and right-hand pitcher from Philip Barbour High School, signing with Potomac State Junior College. Going to go play for Doug Little. Gage, I appreciate you spending some time with us.
Yes, sir, Marty. Excited to be here, my man.
Yeah, so for those who don't know who you are, give me what's on your bio.
Gage Bibey, 5'11", 180 middle infielder, and grew up playing baseball all my life. Love it, and I was, super fortunate to be able to continue to play at the next level. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm just really excited. And I mean, outside of baseball, I really big into Xbox, PlayStation, all that. But
What's
my
your favorite
main
game?
goals and everything.
What's a game of choice?
Right now, my favorite choice probably have to be Madden 21. I enjoy whooping all my boys' butts. So,
attaboy. Yeah, I've got to set up it. Hey, maybe we'll hook up and play a little bit. I'm not too shabby.
All right, yeah. All right, that sounds good.
So listen, man, the recruiting process, a lot of highs and lows. Walk us through maybe a few of those times where, and maybe start with some low points where maybe there were some doubts or something didn't go right. What does you have a low point that kind of stands out?
Yeah, I would say my low point was definitely my sophomore summer. When I first started playing with the Appalachian Aces, and felt like I had a really good summer, and it was just the overall expectation for myself was, if I perform well in the summer, then I'm going to have schools reaching out and this and that. But that was when I met you, and we realized, okay, hold up, it's a lot more than just being good on the field. It was definitely the low point for me was just having to learn how to send these emails and communicate with coaches and do this and that. And definitely it was a real shock when it's, you're performing at a high level, and then it's, you're still not getting the interest and this and that, but there's a lot more to it.
So when you look back, was there a moment or a time where maybe you got off the phone with somebody, or you're like, yeah, let's go. This is great.
Yeah, it was actually the first time that a college coach reached out to me. It was like, I know that's kind of the most memorable one for everybody, but it was kind of like, okay, like, now I got it under my wings. I know what it's like, know what it feels like. That was probably the one that stands out. This is the first one.
It makes you feel like you belong. All that hard work, and now you're like, hey, this is happening.
Yeah.
Awesome. When did you commit? You just committed over your junior summer, right?
Yes.
Going into your senior year. So that's fairly recent. So as you look back at the recruiting process, are there two or three things or events that stood out to you that really helped you get there? Maybe an email or a camp, or something that happened to you, say, man, if I hadn't done that, let me get to where I'm at.
Yeah, so definitely it would my sophomore fall with the Appalachian Aces, I got to play with one of my best friends now, Morgan Little. His father obviously coached Doug Little. Just being able to play basically a whole fall season, and him being able to watch, that definitely helped out with him, seeing me at my best, yes, but also seeing me at my worst. So getting to see me both ways, and really seeing the complete player I am.
What do you think your big break was? What was it that you think caught his attention? Was it on the mound? You think it was the infield play? Was it a weekend? What do you think it was?
I would definitely say it was the infield play. That's what I'm kind of seeing myself going there for. Obviously, I think I'm a really good hitter, so I just always having that confidence. But definitely just him being able to see me for, like I said, a whole fall season, and that really helped.
So when you look at your athletic profile, what are the measurables as other guys who are just either starting this process or in the mix? What are some of the measurables that stand out to you that you're the most proud of, that you think stand out as a middle infielder and a right-handed arm?
Right off the rip is your 60 time, your speed, man. You got to be able to move in the middle of the infield, and then you have to be able to run on the bases, steal bags, and do everything. So obviously speed's the one, but I would say the other one that stands out to me is, your exit velocity is, consistently barreling up baseballs. Good things are going to happen when you're consistently barreling up the ball. So definitely those two stand out to me.
The other thing, I mean, I've had the privilege of watching you play. Man, you got that little bounce, like that middle infielder, that little jazz. It's fun. You're fun to watch, man.
Yeah, definitely. That's my big thing, just having fun.
So in looking back, was there anything that you do different, or maybe a mistake you made, maybe in the timing of when you started, or maybe I should have done this? Is there something out I should have been more proactive? Anything that you can maybe that you did wrong that you'd like to maybe tell future players, hey, this is something you really need to do differently than what I did?
Yeah, being proactive. I mean, I didn't get on to a PBR showcase until I went my sophomore year. So I was way behind the game already. I've been to a couple college showcases, my 8th grade and freshman year, but just, it starts a lot earlier than what you think. But, outside of that, I don't have any regrets of playing for the Appalachian Aces and then US Elite this past fall and summer. So, yeah, just being proactive, getting out and doing it early.
So what, if you remember back, what were some of the first steps that you took in the recruiting process? Did you coach? Was it email? Did you text somebody? What'd you do first?
I remember my dad and I sitting down and saying, okay, these are the schools I have interest in. We're exploring kind of all the routes and getting a plan first. And then when we got that, it was kind of, easy sailing, because we sat down, got the emails out to everybody, just introduced myself, and yeah.
So tell me a little about the email. So there's some kids that'll be watching, trying, following your footsteps, that have never sent an email. They're a little intimidated. What's that email look like? Does it have to be perfect, or what are you sending out in that introductory email?
Definitely, obviously, your position. That's got to be one of the first things. Your position, your grad year, and then all these coaches are going to know that if you want to play at the next level, they know you're going to work hard and stuff like that. So what I really did was focus on, hey, I'm going to help your team win. At the end of the day, whatever I have to do, I'm going to help your team win. And that was the biggest thing to me. And the only thing that's got to be perfect about the letter is the language. So you can't have any sloppy language going on. Make sure you're professional about it.
Obviously, COVID world, recruiting video was kind of heightened. That you used, whether it be a skills video or video you posted on Twitter or YouTube, how did you handle video, and how big a role do you think it played?
Yeah, so when the COVID all started, it definitely went straight to video, especially losing my high school season, because you were hoping to get live at-bats and videos out of that. So it was a lot of, I can remember posting on my Twitter a couple, tee swings early just to get something out, because we couldn't even get in a cage anywhere. So then finally, when, we were able to play with US Elite this summer, I hammered down on it, all the good at-bats that I got. I was like, I got to get it out. I have to get this out to the coaches, and they, I have to see it.
So how did you do that? I mean, you're playing the game. Where did you get the video? Who's taking it? How did you edit it? Or what was the strategy there?
Yeah, well, that was a big shout out to my dad, recording a lot of my at-bats. And then we had a couple times where we had US Elite had video of us swings and at-bats, stuff like that. So I was very thankful for that too.
Did you get any that maybe saw it, or on Twitter that it said, hey man, it looks good, or were coaches following that video?
Yeah, I had a couple coaches actually reach out to me and say, hey, we saw your at-bats, we saw your swings from Twitter, really liked what we saw, and let's get in contact. And I actually had a school reach out through me on the Twitter, like DM straight. So yeah, it definitely helps.
You just mentioned a little bit of the social media. How big do you think the social media and which platforms you use? Was it mostly Twitter? Did you use any of the other tools? And what was the strategy there?
Yeah, definitely Twitter. And this right now, it's recruiting's at an all-time high on just social media in general. A lot of coaches can recruit straight from their phone, which is wild. And it's definitely just, you can go out, whatever schools you're interested in, and follow their coaches and see what the program's about. And definitely just, you have to get it out there on the social media. But I mainly use Twitter. That was about the only one that I used.
So,
and YouTube.
So for guys who are getting ready, I get my profile, I get everything set up. What types of things are you posting? You posting like a workout, like running 60s, lifting weight? I mean, what type of content are you filling your Twitter feed up with?
Yeah, so I was filling mine up with mainly just hitting and fielding, what I thought I did best. But that comes down to, as a player, what are your strengths at? I mean, if you're running a really good 60, that's probably something that you're going to post and show these coaches, hey, I can fly around the outfield, fly around the infield. So it kind of, up and down between what your strengths are.
So talk to me a little bit about academics. When did that come up in conversations with coaches, and how has that helped you in the recruiting process?
Yeah, so it actually came up to me when we went to a junior day visit at a college, and they kind of put out a brochure of how the GPA and the money system works depending on your GPA. And I'm kind of looking at it like, okay, holy smokes, like academics help a ton. You might not realize it right now as a kid, but I learned quick. So just getting all the money that you can, it's not only going to help you, but it's going to help you get recruited.
So there's a lot of kids out there that, they're maybe finishing middle school, entering into high school. Talk to me a little bit about you mentioned playing with the Aces and US Elite. When should guys start playing for, the best travel team they can? And then how important is that in the whole recruiting game?
Yeah, definitely your earliest is your freshman or sophomore year. I would definitely be looking to get on a team. And it's very important. West Virginia, I mean, let's be honest, the high school baseball, it's not as top competition as what some other states are. So a lot of these coaches, this is where you get seen, and going out. And the biggest thing for me was getting places where I wanted to go to college and getting seen by those coaches. So the biggest thing for me was the venues where we were playing. And so it's kind of based on you. But I would definitely say you're as early as your freshman, sophomore year.
So as you look back at the coaches, high school coaches, your travel team coaches, what kind of role did they play in the recruiting process from the point of maybe reaching out or being a reference? How did that work, and who was influential there?
Yeah, definitely all my travel coaches that I had. I can't thank them enough. Coach Heenan, obviously, and Coach Kuykendall and Coach Gowdy. Just having those resources, having those guys to, have college coaches say, these are guys if you want to know more about me. And they're big, influential, big help.
Great. What about profiles? Did you have a hard copy profile? Did you have an online profile? And if you did, where did you house that online profile? Who did you have that with?
Yeah, so we had the online profile, the player profile. So the first one I ever had was actually made, and that was one we sent out with the emails to the college coaches, introductory, that sort of stuff. And then the other one I had was actually in the US Elite, their online website, which was really helpful. And that one was in their database and everything. So
for younger players, when the communication starts happening with coaches, talk to me about like how that happened. Did they just start calling you? Did they have someone say, hey, call me at this number? When did it happen? And what were the phone conversations like?
A lot of them definitely began with a text, just texting back and forth, and eventually setting up a phone call. And then the phone calls were mainly a lot of the coaches, people don't realize they want to get to know you as a person. They want to talk to you, know what you like, what you don't like, And then a lot of the key things that they talk about is what you want to go to school for, what your grades look like, obviously, and then what you want in a college experience, as in, big campus, small campus, things like that.
So as you were going through this, tell me a little bit about the research you did and how you did that with a school.
Yeah. So like I said, when my dad and I sat down and did it, I kind of knew what I wanted in a school. And, it was very time consuming. We had to go through and all the schools that I was interested in and just kind of get an overall feel for it.
So you mentioned following coaches on social media. What kind of information did you learn about the coach, and how was that?
Seeing the coach's Twitter, a lot of coaches are retweeting what their personal interests are, what they, like and stuff like that. And then you get to see what kind of coach they are. A lot of these guys now are posting interviews and stuff like that, especially with their fall season going on. A lot of these guys are having inter squads and stuff like that. So you get to see the energy and the type of culture that is there.
So when you're talking phone calls, how long does a typical phone call with a coach last? Are you talking for 2 hours? Are you talking for 1 minute? What were the ranges and how did that work?
Yeah, I've never had any long conversations. Mine were usually about 15 to 30 minutes. Just 15 to 30.
So when you started the process, you talked about kind of the light coming on and saying, "Oh my gosh, this is a big deal." What kind of recommendations do you have for players and parents as to when to start learning about the recruiting process? So maybe I don't know if I'm going to be able to play or not. I'm a pretty good player. I might be able to. When should I start kind of reaching out and trying to figure out, hey, what's all involved in educating myself?
Earlier the better. And if you're saying, if you think you're a pretty good player and you have a chance at the next level, definitely as soon as you get into high school, start learning, start getting ready, because it's going to move like this. It's going to move quick.
So, did you register with the eligibility center? And if so, how was that an easy thing? Hard? Did it take a long time? What do people need to know about that process?
Yeah, I did register with that, and it was, fairly easy. Nothing crazy. If I can do it, I'm sure anybody can do it.
When it comes down to it, tell me about the process of finalizing your commitment to Potomac State. How did that go? Was it a phone call? Were you, tell me about that decision process, and then how it kind of felt to pull the trigger. Did you call coach? How did it work? So a lot of players never have committed, so they want to know, hey, what's it like?
Yeah, so I kind of knew in my head for, a little bit before I called and committed. I was like, yeah, this is home to me. This is where I want to be for right now. And after we were down the WWBA, perfect game, and after our games, I was kind of looking at my dad and I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it tonight. So I texted Coach Little. I made sure he was free to call. And then I remember calling him with my dad in the car, which was really cool, and saying, hey, Coach Little, like, I want to be here. This is what I want to do. And it was a really cool moment. Just him obviously being excited, and I was obviously excited. So it was a really cool moment.
Yeah, those are the times, man. You'll never forget those times. That's awesome. So as you're making that commitment and making that decision, what was it about Potomac State? What was it? Facilities, coaches? What created that nice fit for you?
Definitely the culture for me. One, I've always considered myself a very adaptive person, so it's the people around me, and just the overall way that they maneuver there. It's hard work and grind and dedication, and that's what I love about it. It's baseball, and that's what you're there for.
Coach
And
a good guy.
Yes, that's what stood out to me, was how just baseball culture it was, and the hard work and dedication that you have to put in there.
As you look back and maybe you're talking to future players and parents, any advice you want to give them about as they look at options for college?
Yeah, don't cheat yourself, number one, and don't forget about JUCO. That's going to be my biggest thing. A lot of people overlook it, and it's a great route, especially you're a player that needs a couple more years to develop to be the best player that you can be. JUCO is the best route.
Excellent. Well, I can tell you, Doug Little got a good. I'm glad you'll be in a place where I can come watch you play too.
Yes, sir.
Gage Bibey, 2021 middle infielder from Philip Barbour, heading to Potomac State Junior College. Buddy, I appreciate you spending the evening with us and talking some recruiting.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Marty.